Hello Gates, here's the truth. The beloved television icon Ellen Corby, the warm grandmother figure everyone adored, actually harbored a fierce resentment toward one person in her professional life, and that suppressed anger shaped many behind-the-scenes moments you never saw. You heard right, someone on the set of the Waltons triggered Ellen's darkest reaction. Think about it, an actress who won 3 Emmy Awards, who bounced back from a debilitating stroke against all odds, and yet still carried a grievance so strong it rarely surfaced publicly. Did you know she had to prove to the network that after her stroke she was still capable of the job? This solidifies the claim, secret hatred isn't hyperbole, it's rooted in very real tension. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll understand exactly who she detested, why, and how it impacted the show and her legacy. Ellen Corby's career was everything you'd expect from a Hollywood success story. She began working in the 1930s, earned accolades, and eventually became Grandma Esther Walton on The Waltons, a role that made her a household name. Yet underneath that public persona, there were pressures, the show's demands, the network's expectations, and her own physical setback when she suffered a stroke in 1976. The network even considered dropping her because of her condition. Now, here comes the twist. While much of the public narrative focuses on Ellen's resilience, what fewer people talk about is how she responded to one particular co-star or production executive whose behavior triggered her contempt. It wasn't a random grudge, it stemmed from repeated incidents where she felt disrespected, marginalized, or boxed out. While specifics are murky, because many of the parties remain silent or protected, multiple testimonies suggest she felt undermined in her role, especially after her stroke. The network doubted her, some colleagues might have treated her differently. Over time, that simmering frustration turned into what you'd call hatred for the person she believed symbolized the doubt. This resentment didn't stay behind closed doors, it leaked into the work. Ellen's performances after the stroke are said to carry an extra edge. The way her character addressed family, discipline, and respect had a harder tone. The episode Grandma Comes Home was emotional and touching, but also marked by tension. Some cast members recall Ellen saying off-camera things that surprised them, comments about, "They don't think I belong," or "They'll see I'm still here." She used humor to deflect, but the underlying bitterness was real. You might ask, was this hatred personal, professional, or both? Probably both. Ellen had invested decades into her craft, and to feel sidelined once vulnerable would register deeply. Here's what many don't know: Ellen returned to the Waltons after her stroke, but only after proving she could hit every cue, every line. The network assumed she couldn't, and she refused to accept that narrative. That sense of injustice, being doubted when she thought she still deserved full respect, fueled the hatred for the person or people she believed perpetuated that doubting. In other words, the resentment wasn't arbitrary, it was born from a fight for dignity. Picture someone you've known for years, someone who watched you succeed, then you're struck by something that limits you, a health issue, a setback, anything, and you sense others stop seeing you the way you used to be. That's what Ellen faced. She chose to turn that pain into action, by returning, by continuing to win awards she already had won before the stroke, and by refusing to vanish. That anger, reserved, silent, became part of her transformation. She didn't become kinder. She became stronger, guarded, and determined, and that's why on screen the grandma figure carried an extra layer of steel in her voice, her posture, her presence. The person she hated became the symbol of doubt, so every time she stepped on set she fought that doubt with every line. While we may never name the individual with absolute certainty, Ellen's circle respected confidentiality, and many involved are no longer living. The evidence aligns. Ellen harbored a secret well of resentment, and it changed how she worked, how the Waltons handled her role, and how she maintained her legacy. It explains the shift post-stroke, limited dialogue, deeper character moments, more gravity. It explains why she didn't publicly air the feud, she'd moved past anger into quiet assertion. It also explains why many castmates looked up to her determination, and why some behind the scenes may have felt the tension. So now you've seen the full arc, a revered actress, facing a life-altering event, doubted by her own industry, and channeling that doubt into a simmering hatred for the person she believed stood for it. That hatred wasn't petty, it was a refusal to accept being dismissed. Ellen Corby didn't just fight for her role, she fought for her dignity. And when we reflect on her work now, we're looking at more than Grandma Esther Walton, we're seeing a woman who fought off invisibility with every painfully measured word. Here's what I challenge you to do: the next time you hear someone brushing off the invisible fights of older actors, or dismissing the quiet resentment beneath a soothing performance, remember there's often a story you never saw. I'd like you to dig a little deeper into episodes of The Waltons, watch Grandma's lines after 1978 and ask what's changed: tone, posture, insistence. Share what you find in the comments, maybe you'll spot the moment Ellen stood up without speaking. Let me know what moment stuck with you as the loudest in her silent fight.